Hello. Oh, I'm echoing. Why am I echoing? Do you hear an echo? I hear an echo. What happened here? Is the echo gone now? I don't hear the echo anymore. I don't know if you ever heard an echo. How we doing? How we doing? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, happy time zone, and happy Saturday. Got Val, we got Matt, we got Kisser Kong, but I already knew that. He's the reason I'm late. Kisser Kong had the audacity to have a surprise day off today. So we had to eat breakfast and watch an episode of Sailor Moon, of course. That's how every good Saturday morning starts, right? How's everybody's weekend going so far? I feel like my camera's not where it should be. Can we move it out of this way? Now I'm centered. Take a little sip of water. Yes, Kisser Kong's in the process of making us all crepes. Exactly. Our breakfast. Our resident breakfast cook, Kisser Kong. No, actually, he has a day off from the crepe factory this morning. Blueberry crepes, that's a good one. I'm sure Kong will have that order up for you shortly. So we're back. We're back for more hardcore Minecraft. Yay! Kong asking the important questions. Now, one moment, my glasses are, of course, too smudged for me to look at screens. What else is new? Both. Kong, do people ever order both? I'm partial to the fresh blueberries, personally. We've got a bit of Scully on the cat cam. I tried bribing him with some catnip. Are you gonna hang out in front of the camera? Are you gonna show the world how cute you are? No, you're gonna walk away? Okay, that's fine too. Usually the syrup and fresh strawberries. Ah. You're learning all about the breakfast trade today. If you have any questions about breakfast, Kisser Kong has you covered. Okay. Shall we? Shall we log in here? Val, did you kill any server members this morning? Ayo. Oh my god, there's Val in two places at once. No. So yesterday, we got ourselves set up with an ender chest at last. It's nothing. Don't look in there, actually. It's a little bit of a mess. But we have an ender chest. That way we can put all our stuff in there and have it everywhere. We also got a Mulder and a Scully and a Jessie. And then we started working on the landscape. I put a pond in, and we're gonna make the waterfall look all nice. And a little bridge across. And I also put a bunch of flowers outside the window because this was looking very bare. So things are coming together. It turns out I have a neighbor, I think in that general direction. I believe that is where I have a neighbor. And yeah, stuff to do. So I think what we're gonna do is work on the waterfall and pond area. Do some, like, decorating around there and maybe start working on the little fishing hut that I want. I want to make a fishing hut so that I can sit there and fish and spend all the rest of my days on this hardcore server in peace. What's happening? That's exactly what I know as well. Grumpy. Different ones. Oh. Oh. I don't know what's happening there. Also, oh, I want to move the chickens and my lava farm. So maybe we should do that. Do you guys want a new home? Oh, thank you for the egg. Why is that not in here? Is this full? This is full. That's why it's not in there. Oh, goodness. I think we have too many eggs. I'm gonna put these in the house. Eggs. Perfect. Blah, blah, blah. Have you ever tried slow cooking toast? Matt with the important breakfast questions. Hi, Davy Jones. Welcome in. Sugarcane. No, not really. We got a nice little sugarcane set up out here. Look at all that sugarcane. Nothing automated. I haven't set anything like that up on this server, but we got sugarcane. No problem. More than I could need right now, actually. Alright, I want to move the chickens. Do I have seeds in here? I have one singular seed. Where are we going to put the chickens is the question. Should we put them down near the cows? Should they be free-range chickens since we now have 8 bajillion eggs? Give or take. 8 bajillion is just a rough estimate. Or we could build them into the side of the hill again. Moo to you too. Hi, Hoagie. Good morning. How are you? How's your Saturday going? Look at that Hoagie drop. Will he land in the leaf pile? Let's find out. Come on, Hoagie. Come on, Hoagie. Oh, oh no! You skimmed the top of the leaf pile. Went too far. Too far. Too much power behind that drop. Okay. Chickens. Chickens are gonna go down here. That I won't have to listen to them. But how do we want to do this? I think I'm gonna build them a little hutch. Little hutch right here. With the hopper underneath. Maybe just a little like 2x2 kind of thing. Let's make that out of dark oak because I built the cow pen out of dark oak. Boop. Gonna have to try again next time, Hoagie. That was just a practice drop. That was just a practice drop. It should be resetting any minute now anyway. Okay, dark oak. Perhaps we should do a little bit of wood harvesting. Because looking at that, that's not a large amount of dark oak. Let's do some chopping. I think I have a dark oak tree down here. I should. Is that it? I see it. It's a short one. But it's a dark oak tree, nonetheless. Oh, it's not a short. It was just far away. That's my excuse, too. I'm not sure. I'm just far away. Okay, where's my fortune pickaxe? We're just gonna use this to get some more saplings. Because otherwise we probably won't have enough to replant this tree. Dark oak trees, man. They don't make it easy. Should probably get a hoe with fortune on it too soon. I get enough to replant. 1, 2, 3. Let's do a few more. Plenty of apples. Didn't ask for apples, but thank you. Alright, that's more than enough to replant. Alright, that should be enough to build a nice little, more than enough to build a nice little enclosure over here now. So I think... Do I have a... Oh, I do have a crafting table. Love bundles. Love them so much. Boop. Okay, let's do a few little fences. And a few little... Doop doop. Doop doop. Doop 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 doop. Oh, I'm not. Am I not? I'm not in the crafting table. Like, why am I not getting the recipe for more fences? Nope, that's not where I want that. Get out of there. I need a couple more. Can I open? If I put a chest there, will I be able to open it? I don't know how that works. Boop, boop, boop. No, now I can't get out. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna make the roof out of cherry. Cherry slabs, got plenty of them. And I'm gonna need one more hopper, I think. I have one seed on me. Bedtime. Give me this too. And actually, I need 2 more chests as well. 2 more chests, 1 more hopper. Put the seeds on my hotbar. Let's go move these chickens. Also, I'll silk touch all the glass. Chickadees, it's time to move. Stay nearby, okay? Don't go. Oh no, oh no. There they go. And they're off. Hey, everybody, follow me. This way. This way. I have a beautiful new home for you. Let's go around this way. My minions. Oh, I forgot to grab the hopper. One moment, guys. I need this hopper. With all of its eggs. Did I pick up the hopper? It's probably in this pile. No, I didn't, because I had one in my inventory already. Alright, everybody together. Alright. Everybody got their buddy? This way. This way. No. with the group. Get with the group. All right, it's a field trip. We're going on a little field trip. Everybody partner up. Here we go. Come on. Use those little wings of yours. Leaving a trail of eggs behind you. I told you to go before we left. Come on. Yo. Let's go. Let's go. Okay. Okay. Right this way. It's all downhill from here. It'll be easier to go. Everybody just single file. Let's go. Hoagie with the egg emote. Perfect. All right. Right this way. Right this way. You decided to take the road less traveled by? I see. Okay. That's fine. All right. Everybody in the pen. It's Independence Day. I thought that was funny. Oh dear. Skyfire, hello! How are you? Did you hear my amazing joke? How you doing? Thanks for the follow. Come on, guys. Get in the pen. In the pen. You're not fooling me. That's not in the pen. Come on. This way. Let's go. Up here. Come on. And in you go. Good job. All right. All right. So we're gonna make the roof out of pink. Doop 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 doop. Oh, I should have put the hoppers in first. Oh no, I didn't think this through. I did not do this right. Oh no. Oh no. Can I be quick about it? Do you think I can place them quickly? They're not going to be facing the right way if I do that. Oh, guys, I really messed up. I really messed this one up. All right, everybody out of the pen. That was just a practice run. That was just a practice run. Go where you please. Everybody move. Especially you. You very much need to move. What are you doing? Go away! Alright, we're gonna try this again. In just a second. Do. And I'm gonna put some hay back here because I honestly don't really need the eggs, but we'll collect some of them. Look, you guys have a cute little pen here. Alright. Alright. Independence Day, take 2. Everybody, you all really scattered. Goodness. Guys, what's over here? What's over here? Why are we running as far away from everything as possible? All right, everybody this way. I am awake. That is my state of being today. You know what? That's good enough, Skyfire. That is good enough. All right, come on. I got you. I think we might have lost a couple of you along the way, but that's all right. I gotta try this again. I'm gonna replace the fence before we do anything. Nope, that's not how we place the fence. There we go. Can I still access that? Yes, you can still open it. Okay. All right, everybody this way. Everybody this way. Up here. Up here. We're gonna break a couple of these blocks for a second. No, not that one. We don't need to break that one. Oh, you're not gonna be able to get up there. Actually, we do need to break that one. Burp. Burp. Oh no, now I'm in the pen. Okay. This is fine. This is fine. Oh no, did it go in the... Nope. Okay, alright. This is fine. Everybody in. Everybody in. Nope. Get back in the pen. Get back. Alright, let's try this again. Alright, everybody this way. I don't even need chickens. Why am I even doing this? Good chicken. That one's in the pen. Everybody in the hole. In the pen. In the pen. Everybody in the pen. You are in the pen, okay? You're in the pen. Alright, you get in the pen? Oh no, I'm in the pen again. This is going really well. So well, in fact. No, 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 no! No! This is fine. This is exactly what I was trying to do. I was trying to get 2 chickens. Just 2. That's all I need. 2. Let's try one more time. Alright. I'm not gonna fall in. I'm not gonna fall in the pen. You're all gonna fall in the pen. Okay? And we nudge you in. We nudge you. Uh-huh. Just as I planned. Yes. Yep. Perfect. Okay. All right. Here we go. Right this way, please. There. Perfect. Everyone's doing great. We're not falling in. You're falling in. I'm not falling in. No, get in the hole. Get. No, that's not the right way. Get in the hole. Get in the hole. Close. There you go. All right. All right. Come on. Last 2. I think this is the last 2. All right. Right this way. I'm just gonna give you a little push. A little nudge. That's fine. There you go. All right. You want to go in too? Right this way. Right this way. Okay. Yep. Yep. Oh. Oops. Oops. I dropped you. Okay. That's enough. That's enough chickens. That's more chickens than I could ever need. And 2 more little fences. Boop, boop. You're doing great, chickens. Shall we go pick up all the eggs that I left everywhere? Hi, Chorus. How are you? We're cleaning up things a little bit here. And simultaneously making a mess. Put those away. Guess the saplings go in here. So many eggs. What am I gonna do with all of these eggs? It's like herding cats. Indeed. Indeed. Did all the eggs despawn? That's fine. We have a whole chest. I don't even know what I'm going to do with all these. Alright, but before we do that, maybe we should move the lava. I'm going to need more buckets. And I'll put the water here for a moment. Okay, let's pick up all this lava. We got 1. We got 2. Oh no, that was the wrong way. This is fine. We got 3. And 4. That's fine. Don't worry about it. That's totally fine. Please don't burn my flowers. You're gonna burn my flowers. Or no. How am I gonna do this? We're just gonna build a little containment unit. This is fine. Oh no, my grass! Oh no. Please go away. Please go away. It's getting dark. And I've had a small eruption. My god, lava moves so slow. Alright, crisis averted. This is fine. It's just a little dark. Don't worry about it. Alright, let's go put this lava somewhere safe. And sleep. Sleep first. Take a big old sip of water. Is everybody hydrating? I'll put the lava in here for now. Oh no, we'll keep 2 for the sake of the farm. Oh, Val's back. Hi, Val. What am I doing in here? I don't need to be in here. I need to go outside. Okay, grab this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this. And we'll get rid of that. Alright, fill this back in with some dirt. There was never a lava farm here. What are you talking about? I did want to trim down this like hillside in front of the house a bit. Now I can do that. Now that there's not lava behind it. Scary news? Scary in what way? Because the news around here has been pretty terrifying lately. Where are we gonna put the lava? Goodbye, buddy. Why don't you just run us off the hill? Keldon's here. Hello, Keldon. I don't know where I want to put my little lava farm. I don't have a basement in this house. Should we make a basement? I could do like a little staircase, a little ladder down in the corner or something. Or is there anywhere in the entryway I could put it? No, not really. Nope, this is no room over here. I think we're going basement. What's under my house? Let's find out. We should go probably one more block down. Don't start doing things immediately under the house. In 2 weeks, it will be the end of November. That means Mariah Carey is nearly defrosted. Oh, goodness. I don't want to think about Christmas yet. Val landed and Keldon landed. Look at that. 2 landings in a row. Clappies all around. Grumpy's dropping. Hi, Grumpy. How you doing? Hoagie, you didn't land, but on the bright side, you got a taco. I know you're not Taco Man 5000, but that's got to count for something, right? I'm going to drop... What do I want to drop? I want to drop... I'm going to drop Hydrate. And we shall take another sip of water, even though we just took one 2 minutes ago. I'm like super thirsty suddenly. Oh, and Matt's dropping the very British emote. And he landed. Look at that. We've got 3 in the leaf pile now. Clappies, clappies, clappies. Great job. I see we've been practicing. Alright, so if I do a ladder down here, I'll probably leave 2 blocks between us and the stuff above. That's my torch. Put that back. We need that. We need the torch. And probably go down like 1 more to give us a little more room to work with. Oh, who landed? Someone landed. I heard the sound. Mitchie landed. Hi, Mitchie. Nice landing. Clappies for you. Clappies, clappies. Hope you're doing well. We're making a basement. So, mainly so I have a place to put my, lava farm. Which consists of 2 whole cauldrons. It's clearly a gigantic lava farm. But I need somewhere to put the unsightly things, you know? Do we want to leave? 1, 2... You know what? We're gonna make it 3 blocks. We're gonna make it 3 blocks that we leave ahead. Over our heads. And then I want to go down 1 more. Why am I using Silk Touch right now? Oh no! There we go. Fortune. Well, that's a fun sound. Love that. Super duper fun. I think I can hear Kong in the kitchen. And I'm pretty sure the mic picked it up. The old mic didn't do that. I need to figure out how to, like, set up the microphone to block out certain sounds, because I think it can pick up, like, a lot more sounds than it used to. Oh no! My inventory is full. Do I have a chest on me? I have a shulker. That'll work. Oh, my inventory is like half full of eggs. Don't need the eggs. The glass from the farm. And more eggs. Give me all the cobble. Nom nom nom. Is this where we find a warden under your house? There better not be a warden under my house. There better not be. Yes, Keldon, you are still king of the pile. That's true. Why are you wishing such terrible things upon me, guys? Why would you do that? Why would you want me to find a warden under my house, huh? Y'all are so mean to me. I guess I should have made the ladders before I came down here. But I also totally left my crafting table somewhere, so let's make a new one. New crafty table. Put that down. Give me the sticks. Let's make a few ladders. Gonna need a few more than that. Sticks. Will 6 ladders get us back up? Maybe if I didn't accidentally split the stack. No. That's not quite enough, I don't think. Wait. Maybe? Aha! It does work. Okay. Trapdoor there? What kind of trapdoor, though? What kind of trapdoor? Do I have any trapdoors? This doesn't really go with the aesthetic of my house. Let's go with the pink. Oh. This is a very OSHA-safe staircase. Don't mind me. And I think I'll replace that block with this. Alright, that'll go there. Down we go. I'll put this. Get out of the hole. Get out of the hole. That's my only problem with trapdoors like that. should put like a little table with pots on it for flowers and stuff. And then that won't stick out so much. Could do it out of pink stairs. The cherry wood stairs. I need to decorate the house. This is very bare bones right now. I want to see you defeat a warden in glorious combat. I don't think that's gonna happen, my dude. Don't think so. I don't think so. I think that would end very badly, actually. Nope, not try to sleep. Try to eat. Okay, how do we want to do this? So, I think I'll put my little lava farm in one of these corners. Maybe if we... How far can I dig out before I start hitting the, edge of the mountain? I think I have a little more space. If I dug down, I'd have even more. No, we're just gonna replace all of this with stone for now. Till I figure out how I wanna decorate. It's just gonna be stone. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. Nope. Oh, we missed a few. Okay. And, oh, maybe we should dig this out one more, actually. That'll give us a little room to start with. And I think I'm just gonna stick the lava on this wall where the ladder is. In here. Little alcove, just a little one. So... Cauldron, dripstone, We'll go up one more so the lava can be up there, then dripstone. Or we could set it back one more. Little alcove. There, is that all I had for regular stone? That's fine. Oh no, I have a little more. I have a little more. Yeah, so let's put the cauldrons down here. I had... Where'd I put this other one? I want to know if I'm digging outside what I'm digging into. So let's put a block that doesn't belong. Like these 2 bricks. Do I have more? Do I have more bricks? That should be enough. All I have to do is bow leave. That's true. That's true. If only, you know what? If the warden dropped a head, that would be something. But he doesn't. He doesn't drop the head. Okay, so that's gonna be lava. That'll be dripstone. Okay. Okay. 1 and a 2 and a 1, 2. Yeah! Nailed it. Flawless. Hello, lava farm. Can I do... I need stairs. Let's do more of that. There we go. Good. Good enough. Alright, the basement has begun. But at least I got the stuff out of the way. I can leave this down here, I guess. Just gonna move it into the corner. Why am I breaking it with a bucket? I don't know. Basement. And while I'm thinking of it, I do want to put down the little table I'm envisioning. I do have stairs. All the buckets can go together. I don't know if I need a slab. Maybe season 2. Oh, hi, Zeroed. How are you? Maybe season 2 will have warden heads. Is that what you're saying? Little table. Do I have any clay? Where would I have put the clay? That is the question. My organization skills leave a lot to be desired. Clay, I have 12 balls of clay. So that would be a couple of pots. Let's put away all the wood. What else can I put away? All the dirt. Nope, not my pickaxe. Not the pickaxe. Definitely not that. All the deep slate stuff can go in here for now. This wood goes in here. And this bucket can be my water bucket again. Thank you. Oh, I just put away all the dirt. Alright, did I fill all that in? But now I gotta get rid of this. So let's... I don't know what I'm gonna do with... Oh, you know what? Oh, wait. This thing. How does this work? Like that? Ah! I did it. Oh. And that. Ah! Okay. Nailed it. Look at that. Flawless. Now I have a whole shulker full of eggs. Just like I've always wanted. No, we're just gonna... I don't know where we're gonna put these, but these are not staying in my shulker box. I'm actually just gonna go put them by the other chickens. Would love mob heads for season 2. Yeah, I love that. I love the addition of mob heads. That would be really cool to have if possible. Okay. Eggs. Hey. Oh, nope, nope, wrong button. Dang it. Now my inventory's a mess. Didn't go as planned. And this is why we can't have nice things. And I think there are a few eggs in here still. Okay, that's empty now. None of this needs to be in here. Pick that one up. There's my crafting table. That goes in there. Those. Don't organize out here. It's getting dark. That would be silly and unnecessarily risky. And also I want to put the clay in here to cook. Oh yeah, I was doing stuff with nether bricks yesterday. I forgot about that. I should be able to make nether brick pots. That's what I think. An exciting shulker. Indeed, Matt. Indeed. Matt, do you still actively watch wrestling? I heard WWE is coming to Netflix. So we might be able to start watching it again. Mainly just the highlights. It's a lot of content to consume, so I got that. See, Kong just fills me in on any pertinent information that he reads online, but neither of us actually watch it anymore. But we might once it's on Netflix. Maybe. 2 flower pots. I'm gonna put 1 on here. And 1 in the center of the table. Now, what flowers do we want to put in it? That's the question. Wow. We've got tulips. We've got alliums. Alliums are cute. Also, I like how these look in pots. They're very full. Oh, and maybe we'll do like, do I have any? No, I don't. We have moss. We have 1 piece of moss. But I don't have any of the moss-related items. Oh, we'll just do a cherry sapling in 1. That would be perfect in the kitchen. Boop. And this one on here. Boop. Cute. Cute. Looks better already. Alright, I don't know what I'm doing with these other bricks. Let's just throw these in a chest for now. I don't think I needed them at the moment. Nether stuff, nether stuff, nether stuff. And we have a bunch of cobble I don't really need right now. We'll keep a little bit on us for like if we need to pillar up or something. Potentially. We are not currently watching WWE, but it's coming to Netflix, so we might start watching it again. It's been a while since Kong and I watched any wrestling. I feel like I just have so much stuff in my inventory right now. Organize, organize. Silk touch. Put away that in there, and the single stick can go in there, and I guess the glass can go in there too. And why do I have these apples? All right. So we moved some things. I'm gonna get a little bit of dirt and patch up the hole where the chickens were. And then we can start working on my pond. So yesterday we started making a waterfall. I want this to look different than that a little bit. I want it to look nice. It's pretty plain right now, but I'm gonna put like a fishing hut or something in this area. And yeah. Dirt. Sure. Good enough. Good enough. So, what kinds of blocks do we want? Well, I can see right now the terrain looks really weird. I want to level that out a little bit. Let's bring dirt over there and start with that. I am just watching Netflix closely at the moment. Lady Gaga's appearing in Wednesday season 2. If they try to do a Joker part 2 to Wednesday, I will. Oh, if they try to turn it into a musical? Is that what you mean? Personally, I love musicals, just saying. No. Okay, so right now this is... I want to kind of make this a little more blend in with this side of it more. I added a bunch of dirt here to try to guide where I wanted the water to go. Wednesday's not a musical character. She plays the cello. Cello. That's pretty musical. Oh no, I'd be down for a musical Wednesday episode. It froze. Hey. Very rude. My goodness. I think my waterfall froze. I didn't think about that when I put it up here. Did it just freeze over? Am I gonna have to like light stuff up to have my waterfall? No, it turned ice. Dang it. Was it you? Did you do this to my waterfall, bunny? Alright, so if I just break it, is that... Okay. We just won't be able to come up here. But also, maybe I can put a light source in it. Here, or something. Whee! Let's see. What could I do? put ice over the sources? Huh? If I put ice, wouldn't it just all refreeze again? Or the ice would melt over the water source? Not the water source, the... Oh, put ice over the... Oh, over the water sources, because only the top layer would freeze. Oh, I get it. I get it. Brain worky. Brain worky a little bit. Hold on, I gotta get rid of this junk in my inventory. Why do I have cactus in with all my food? Probably the same reason I have sugarcane in here. What was I gonna grab? We're gonna... Oh. Put that on. We're just gonna make it too deep. Nope. Shovel. And maybe this will work. No, too many. Too many. No. There. Will that work? I hear zombie. Where are you? Where are you, zombie? No one invited you, zombie. I just want to see if this will freeze. I think that might work now that I understand what Zero was saying. I think. We're gonna see how far this freezes. Except it's getting dark. I should really go sleep. Just kidding. We should go sleep. We'll come back. Ooh. Alright. As long as this doesn't freeze, we'll be fine. But also it seems like an awful lot of water now. Like, maybe I should only make this, like, 2 wide instead of 3. Where's my shovel? No, it froze. Oh wait, this part didn't freeze though. Is my shovel missing? What did I do with my shovel? Did I accidentally put my shovel away? I need to make sure I've got it still. Not in there. Not in there. Where did I put my shovel? Shovel? Huh. Did anyone else happen to notice where I put my shovel? Is it in here? Nope. Did I throw it on the ground? What did I just do with it? Is it doing that thing where it's in my inventory but it's not showing up? What did I just do with my shovel? Did I throw it? Oh god, the sky's doing the thing again. Hey, ooh. Did it float to the bottom? Where's my shovel? Snow. Bunch of shovel! Okay. I apparently threw it down. We gotta log one more time. Alright, it wasn't just the thing. Log in, log out, log in, log out. Sorry. Don't mind me. Oh, this looks kind of silly. Do I have a water source on me? Can I put that there? Where are you, zombie? I hear you. I don't see you, but I hear you. I'm gonna trim a little bit of this. And maybe like this. Oh, no. Nope. I keep hearing zombies, but I don't see them. Also, I don't think I like this being 3. Let's block it for a second. Just thinking about how cold this would actually be. Silk touch, silk touch. Give me that. I'll break these. Put that. Break. Break. Oh no. Put that one back. Break that. Oh. Make a waterfall, I said. It'll be fun. Oh. Okay. I need another piece of ice to go here. If I break that one. Was that not silk touch? Did I not use the silk touch? That was fortune. That was my fortune pickaxe. Did I just throw my silk touch pickaxe? Because now I'm realizing I don't have it again. Am I just throwing all my tools down here? Oh no, there it is. It's in my inventory. I'm just gonna assume every time I'm missing something that I threw it down the waterfall. A couple torches should fix it. No, I'm gonna try to do it this way. I'm gonna try. So if I break that, those should make a water source. Oh, that does not make a water source, though. Go away, zombie. Nobody invited you. There. Oh, we have a friend. Little chickadee. Okay, that's a start. And I definitely want to dig this out. This needs to be deeper. So let's dig out a little bit here. And we're gonna have to do a whole bunch of like texturing with different blocks eventually. This is just the bare bones of it. Good eyes you got there, Grumpy. I didn't see my pickaxe there. Oh, I definitely gotta have plenty of dirt after this is all said and done. Oh, the water sounds fun when you're underwater. I mean, the rain. Good thing we have respiration now. Oh, we got an ad break coming in a couple minutes, just FYI. And it's very dark again. Do I have my bed? I do have my bed. Let's go over here where it's a little brighter. Inventory is getting quite full. Oh my god, there's still so much to this pond. So over here will be the deepest. Pick up all my dirt blocks. Why is it still raining? Is it just perpetually raining? Or is the game doing the thing with the weather? Thanks, Matt. I wish we had dirt slabs. Like, why can't I put down half a block of dirt? To make things more gradual. Mojang, give me dirt slabs. Right now. Immediately. I expect it within the hour. Hey, Gio, how are you? Let me layer dirt like snow, you cowards. Exactly. Kong gets it. Kong gets it. You fill it after the fact, but then layer in all the water sources. That's a pain. I don't mind swimming around a little bit, coming up for every so often. I'm not picking up any of this dirt. Oh, yes I am. Never mind. I thought my inventory was full. I just didn't go near the blocks, apparently. Ad time. We'll be back in a moment. Alright, that looks... okay. I feel like this should be dug out a little bit more, a little deeper here. And let's get rid of this too. Pick up all my dirt. Give it back. Give me back my dirt. Inventory full? Inventory full. Guess what? We've got shulkers for a reason. Shulker. Dirt. Shulker meet dirt. Dirt meet shulker. Boop, 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 boop. Picking up all my dirt blocks. Okay. Alright. Now it's not one layer deep. That looks a little better. Sorry, cow. I'm gonna make the path from here down to the bridge, I think, next. I'm gonna log real quick, though. I feel like it's not actually raining. Ad break's over. Welcome back, friends. How we doing? I tend to get carried away detailing my pond bottoms. I use mossy cobble stairs and slabs. Yes, yes, I've made a couple little ponds in my day. And mossy cobble slabs and stairs do make all the difference. All right, that looks more natural now that it has some depth to it. I like that. I think that's a good depth. 3 deep in some spots, but mostly 1 to 2 deep. I think that's a good start. All right, now we're gonna do the path. And I'm gonna need more of the cherry slabs for that. I think we're gonna use cherry slabs on the entire path. Nope, cherry slabs down here. Nope, not that one. These one, 15. Do I have more? I might need more than that. We'll start with that. Yeah, the old stuck on rain. I'm like, I slept. Why is it still raining? I like granite slabs and ponds too, almost like a dirt color. Oh, I hadn't thought about that. That probably looks really good under the water. That's an idea. All right, let's put a couple slabs. 1 and 2, 3. And do I want this to go here next? 1, 2, 3. So down here, and then I'm gonna have it turn and come back this way. So probably about... Get the grass out of here for now. So right here. 1, 2, 3. And then this comes down there. So that'll probably go this way. And I'll have this 1, 2, 3 right there. And then come back this way. So I feel like this should actually be over 1 more. I feel like I haven't been blinking. My eyes feel really dry. Oh dear. That was loud. I think I have the volume up really loud right now. What happened? Hydrate! Thank you, Gio. Everybody take a big old sip of water, because Gio says so. I need a blink command, too. There we go. Feels a little better. Also, I should probably sit up straight in my chair. Posture check. Little stretches. Little stretches. Oh, I can't stretch over my head anymore. My headphones get in the way. Normally I go like this, but they're in the way. And it's dark again already. Where does the time go? Where does the time go? No, this path is too much. And I'll do one like Nope, I'd put it back exactly where I didn't want it. Good? So shall we do a little shout outs? Because we have a lot of friends from the Bedrock Legends server in chat right now. So I'm gonna do a little shout out for y'all. Everybody should go follow all of these people. We've got Val. We've got Grumpy. Grumpy doesn't have... Nope, that's not the command. Shout out Grumpy. And we got... Zeroed was in here a little while ago. I don't know if he's still here. And... Oh, did I do it too quickly? Did I do my commands too quickly? There we go. And we've also got Geo. There you go. Lots of lovely Minecrafters to follow. Y'all should follow through on that. I think I got everybody. Scrolling up? Yeah. Of course, of course. You've all been so lovely, and I'm really happy to be a part of this. I was hanging out in Geo's stream last night. There was some shenanigans. Some shenaniganery. He's sus. Yes, he's responsible for the shenaniganery. That's true. You weren't following Val. Oh my god, better fix that. Better fix that. But no, I keep finding people that I wasn't already following, and I went through like the whole list of the team, and I've made sure I followed everyone on the team, but like the Twitch team. But there are some people who are not on the Twitch team, and I missed. So every once in a while, someone's like, "Oh, so-and-so is streaming," and I'm like, "Oh, they're on the server? Hold on, I missed this person somehow." How do we want the path to go from here? Because there's... Let's see. How do we get over this hill and get back to spawn? How do we... If we go up this way? I'm trying to figure out which way I should make the path go. Okay, up the hill. Up the hill. Here we go. Yeah, I think a few of us on the server had a little heart attack there, seeing that in chat. It's quite a distance. And then all the way through there. I don't know if I'm gonna have a path all the way to spawn, but I can at least make it line up partially. So normally I come down this hill. So maybe I'll have the path come to like somewhere over here in this general direction. There we go. That's a start. And I'm also gonna have it kind of go off around the side, I think. So it'll come up here, and I think I'm gonna put the little fishing hut over here about. So I'll have to clear a little bit of this out, give me a little more room for it. But that's where I want my fishing hut, I think. But it's coming along. Okay, so I think before we move on from here, we're gonna need some moss. And I am aware that there is a moss farm in the basement of the iron farm. So maybe we can figure out how that works, because I've never used a moss farm before. I've always just gotten it manually. Let's clear out our inventory and take a little trip. I'm gonna put all the dirt away in here. Put that down. Okay, dirt into the inventory. Dirt. Let's just put dirt in its own box for now, because there's quite a bit of it. And the dirt out of the thing. I'm learning how to use it. I'm learning. And dirt into there. Okay. Then I got a little bit of wood to put away. We've got some snowballs. Those can go in there along with the snow blocks. Put this here. Pick up my shulker. Might need to fill that full of moss-related items. And I've also got some beef. Let's just throw that in the chest upstairs. Boop. Okay. Shall we? Shall we go figure out what this moss farm thing is all about? Let's see if I can make it there on one rocket. Oh, there's nothing I'm gonna be spoiling over here, right? Should I look at the floor? Because I see things. I see things. Could go partway up the hill and have it fade away. There's an idea. There's an idea. Don't forget to eat. Yes, Kisser Kong was making us all crepes earlier. Alright, we're not gonna... I don't want to spoil anything, so we're gonna keep our eyes kind of to the ground here. As best as possible without falling into any holes. Might be in the Atlantic. What, the crepes? Okie dokie. Here we are. We've made it. But not the way, not the way. Things have... Are things different here? No. This is the stair down. Okay. Ba, ba, ba. And then we go down a little further. Kind of get down the ladder. Ladders are difficult to use. Down one more. And this is apparently a moss farm. To turn on flipped lever. Please turn off before you leave. Fill up first, take bone meal, put up top. Up top where? Up top where? Up top where? Oh, moss stuff. That's lots of moss. I feel like I'm gonna break something. Oh, just like that. Oh, bone meal up there. That's probably where the bone meal has to go. Yeah. It's hard to see glass. Is there bone meal in here? There's no bone meal in here. Always blame Jeff Bezos, I agree. I mean, what? I agreed to go out and be sociable with people tonight with my eldest child in tow. Oh, good luck, Gio. Good luck for all of that. So does the bone meal go into here? Is that where it goes? Oh, that's the bone meal. So I think if I turn this on, it's not going to function. I think the bone meal has to go up top. And that's all feeding into there. Okay, we're gonna try to do the thing. We're gonna... Oh. I don't know where that went. Let's try. So bone meal goes in there. Okay. I'm not breaking things. What are you talking about? Oh no, now I'm in the hole. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. Nope. Heh. Heh. Nailed it. Flawless. Alright, and then what? The stuff that's in there will automatically start going into here? What's happening? Oh, it's working. Oh. Oh. So that makes the stone, and the stone gets turned into moss, and then it gets broked. And it feeds in to the composters. That works fast. Oh, wow, that works pretty fast. And then I guess once that's full, it'll put the moss into here. Must be mad. Wouldn't catch me doing that, tell you that much. Ew, outside, it's scary. It is quite scary out there. Jeff Bezos will remember that. Thank you, Keldon. Alright, I gotta put the bone meal up top. More bone meal up top? Let's put more bone meal up top. Oh, this is OSHA safe. Put bone meal. Oh, no, no, no! I just put my stuff in there. I shouldn't use these things. What happened to my stuff? Where does it go? Oh no. Panic. 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 Is it in there? Is it in here? That's my apple. I'll take that back, thank you. Is that all that I put in there? I got my tools. I got my elytra. I don't know what I just put in there. If something breaks, we know why. Help. Oh no. What did I have on me? Zeron, I might have just inserted a bunch of stuff into your machine without accident. Oopsies. I can't be trusted. And this is why we can't have nice things. I don't see anything else. Oh, there's my boots. And there's my bundle. Oh, I knew I was missing stuff. I think that's everything. This makes a lot of moss. I may have accidentally hit the wrong button when I was putting bone meal in. I may have accidentally hit that button instead of this button. But I think I got everything out of the system. This is why I can't be trusted. So if it's broken, you know who to blame. But it seems to be working just fine. And my leather boots made their way back out. So I think we're okay. I think... Zero joined the game. See, look it, there was no sign about making sure I don't put things that aren't bone meal into the top. It just said to put bone meal on top. It didn't say don't put anything except for bone meal. I wanted moss. I wanted moss, so I came to use the machine. But I think I got everything back. I don't know. I got all my tools. I got my rockets, my elytra. I got the bundle back. I did find my golden apple in the system. But I think we're okay. I think. So how long before it starts making more of that? This has to fill up first, probably. I think that's how it works. I didn't mean to break anything, but I think it's still working. I don't think I did. I'm just gonna hide in the corner. This is where people who shouldn't be trusted with redstone devices should stand. That's what I think. Yeah. This is fascinating, though. Oh, hi! I think I got everything out of the system. I think we're okay. Did you find anything else in there? Was that everything? I'm never gonna be allowed to use this again. I just wanted some moss. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna take just a bunch of stuff here. Let's do that. I'm gonna take a whole bunch of this. And I'm gonna take some of this. And a couple more stacks. Then I'll be full up. Good, good. Did I take any carpets? I like the moss carpets. I got a couple stacks of those. So I should let this run for a little bit and replenish what I've taken, probably. How long before that fills up again? It's going pretty quick. This is fascinating, though. This is, like, far beyond my redstone capabilities. I just want to sit here and watch it work. I'm glad I didn't actually break it. That would have sucked. So how's everyone doing? Break any redstone devices lately? I almost did. Alright, so we'll let this go for a minute or so. Do another little stretch. So I'm gonna need to make a whole bunch of mossy cobble. And I'm probably gonna use a bunch of moss around the edges in general. And what other blocks? This is fascinating to watch. So, like, the stone breaks the blocks when it gets pushed, the moss. And then the moss gets sent by the water streams to get picked up. That's cool. And the new stone gets turned. Fascinating. A little noisy though, huh? Are these all filled with bone meal too? No, there's no bone meal down there. Nope. Man, nope. Oh no. Okay. Replacing the glass in the iron chamber feels dangerous. Just a little. Nope, too far. Jump. I just want to watch it work. Don't go punching any golems. Is this like super noisy when you're upstairs, or can you barely hear it? I'm curious. No, you can barely hear it up here. That's cool. Don't worry, I'm not leaving without turning it off. I read that sign. Hi. Oh, you're gonna sit here? Does that mean I can leave? You're gonna run the bone meal farm? That's how you spell. I can't be trusted. Oh, nope, we're not looking at things. We're not looking at things that people have built. We're just gonna fly past. With all the fancy dancy, Nope, nope, nope. Oh god, it's hard to fly without looking. And away we go. Should we, So we need a bunch of mossy cobble. Also, I kind of want to get some mud. I feel like mud along the bottom would be good. Where... Do we know where there's a mangrove forest? Should we just go fly around for it? Alright. I like this single piece of moss I have in my inventory still. We went to the moss farm. Here's what I brought back. One piece of moss. Where did I put all my rockets? Did I put those in the under chest? Yes. Stuck that. And I'm probably gonna need... Alright. That has an under chest in it. If I need a second shulker. Let's... Oh, we should use the Skelly farm and repair stuff for a minute before we do that. Let's use the Skelly farm and then we'll go off. And find a mangrove biome. Steal all the mud. I imagine this is still very full. Yeah, we probably could use a few more chests in here for all the stuff. But I need levels. Come on, skellies. We can combine all the random dead bows. While we wait for skellies to come in. Oh, there goes a couple up the water. I can hear them. Blink. Blunk. Trading would also go really quick. random piece of stone. Oh, those are some nice boots. I might combine those with my boots. No, not the pants. I don't want the pants. The further falling boots. Put that on my leather boots and then move on with my life. Boop, boop. Can't be too safe. Trading would definitely go a lot faster. Went to the moss farm. Here's what I brought back after breaking it. I don't know what you're talking about. I broke nothing. Everything's fine. There's no broken moss farm. Everything's totally cool. Do any of these have any fun enchantments? Any other leather boots in here? So much stuff. So much stuff. Oh my god, there's so many arrows. I'm gonna keep combining all the bows. Okay, bye. Oh, Matt's dropping. Matt's dropping. But will he land? Are you trying to predict the future again, Matt? I probably should just go trade. That would go so much faster. Let's see how many more times I say that before I actually go do it. Future's hard to predict. Fair. I'm gonna drop though. What do I want to drop? Do I have any skeleton emotes? I don't think so. So I'll drop egg, because can't go wrong with egg. Maybe I'll land. Come on. Land in the pile. Come on, egg. Come on, egg. Yes! Victory is mine. Oh, Grumpy, you're going the wrong way, Grumpy. No! Boop, boop. Was this all the arrows? Arrows, arrows. Too many arrows. I'm gonna combine these two boots though. If I can get over to the not grindstone, here. Alright, so these will get combined with these. Look, now we have feather falling 4 leather boots. Beautiful. Beautiful. Mitchie's dropping. Oh, it didn't land. Kong also didn't land. Very sorry, guys. I am the king of the leaf pile. Thank you. More bows! And feather falling 2 boots. And more bows. So many bows. Nope. I don't. I don't have any soul sound. I've spent a total of like 30 minutes in the nether so far. Someone fighting the Wither? Is that what's happening? To this day, I have not fought the Wither. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, bum, bum. Alright, that's mostly repaired. I think we're good enough. Let's... Did I finish? Okay. Alright, does anybody know where there is a... Let's see if anyone knows before we start venturing out. Oh, I want mud. We might be going on a bit of a trek. One at a time? I don't want to make all the mud one at a time. Too much work. Alright, we're just gonna... I think we're just gonna fly. And hope we bump into a mangrove biome. My stuff's all healed up. Repaired, whatever the word is. Guess I'm just flying. And we'll see what happens. Picking a direction. What could go wrong? Let's see how many thousands of blocks out we can go. 4K out. Any idea what direction? We'll find it eventually. Look, we're already almost 1,500 blocks out. We haven't seen, like, any of this world anyway. We haven't gone very far out at all. So we'll go in this direction and see what happens. What's the worst that can happen? We die 4,000 blocks away from home? Oh well. Doesn't matter where we die in hardcore, right? I'm tempted to gather this obsidian, though. Pit stop. Water bucket? And we'll get a little bit of crying obsidian, which I have none of. Yay! Is there anything in this chest? I didn't even look. Glistening melon. And a couple little pickaxes. And a helmet. I don't want any of that. Sun's going down. No, it's not. It's right behind the block. I thought it was going down. Sun is always, I guess, going down, right? Can I have that? Thank you. And can... Nope, stop. Give me this. And I'll take this block, too. Don't want the magma block or the netherrack. Okay. Back to flying. Wouldn't it be nice if I chose the right way? Yes, exactly. Exactly what I was getting at, Matt. Whee! There's jungle. Dark oak, jungle. I love the dark oak biome. I just wish it wasn't so dangerous. that little village? Oh, it's so tiny. Cute. Woo! That startled me. Joe, you scared me. Thanks, Joe. Thanks for the resub and also for that beautiful image first thing this morning. I opened up Joe's Discord this morning and was promptly greeted by Mike Tyson's butt. Thank you for the resub, Joe. 23 months. Different angles. Oh, you gotta have all your bases covered, right? Oh dear. Did you actually watch the fight? I did not. I was sleeping. It was bedtime. Like it's currently bedtime. Alright, let's land on this little plot of land, right? Actually, we'll land by the portal and I'll take that obsidian. Boop. Bedtime. Someone beat me to sleeping. You watched a bit of the end. Did, what's his name get his butt kicked as everybody wanted? He won? Ugh. Ugh. I wasn't even sure which one he was, if it was Logan or Jake. Both of them should get their butts kicked. Well, that's disappointing. Everybody hated that. Ooh! There's a trident guy. That's fun. I was about to go get those, a wandering allay. No, I have not. I have not seen a wandering allay. Did I pick up other stuff I didn't need? Yes, random stone blocks. No, I don't want it. Go away. Dare I try to kill these squid? There's a whole bunch of them. Where's Trident Guy? Just saw Trident Guy a second ago. But I want some squid ink. I don't have any ink yet. Gimme, 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 gimme. Ew. No allay sightings here. Did I get all the ink? I don't see any in my inventory. Where did it all go? Did they not drop any? I just killed like 4 squids. Where are the inks at? Oh, they're on my hotbar. I'm so good at this game, guys. Alright, where were we going? We were going... I guess let's go... Which way were we going? This way's out further. Let's go this way. And see what we come across. So Joe, how are you doing today? I know you took yesterday off. You feeling better? Feeling better for sure. Was it the healing powers of Mike Tyson's ass? Yes, it was. It's good that you recognize when you need to take a break. Alright, I need a mangrove biome. I need mud. We are now 4,000 blocks out in this direction. What's that? That is just regular swamp. I need mangrove. A witch's hut. Oh. Is that a black cat? There's 2 black cats. Okay, hold on. We're just gonna pour this down here. And we're gonna get a little fishy rod. And we're going to ignore the witch that I hear. I don't think I've come across a witch's hut in game in a really long time. Good use of the emotes. Oh, good. Grumpy found his allay. Thank goodness. I think there's like 4 cats right. Why are there so many black cats? I thought there would be 1. Is this house just full of black cats? Oh, that's a witch. I thought it was another cat. That's the witch. Alright, we're gonna kill the witch. Kill the witch. Burn the witch. But first, I need more fish. Wait, what am I gonna do with the cats? How am I getting the cats home? Are we boating? I'm not thinking this through. I just saw cats and I'm like, obviously I need cats. Obviously we need black cat. Screw the moss. I don't care. Oh! I forgot about frogs. Oh, ho, ho. We don't have a frog light farm yet, do we? Oh, I didn't mean to fall yet. Alright, let's kill the witch. Kill the witch. Oh, there's 2 witches. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I must ask you to leave so that I can pet nap your cats. Thank you. Alright, where's all the fish I was fishing up that didn't make their way to me? Oh, they did make their way to me. Okay. One moment, please. We're just gonna come over here and try to tame a couple cats. Do you want to be my friend? Blocks. Oh, do you want to be my friend? Yeah? Oh, cat. And tons of stuff from the witches. Oh, other cat. Do you want to be my friend too? Huh? Kitty, 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 kitty. Oh no. I don't think I got the other one yet. And get on the lily pad. Fishing rod. Oh, do you like tropical fish? Will you eat tropical fish? No? Alright, then this is trash. And I don't want it. Okay. One moment, cat. Don't go far. I will have fish for you in just a second. Come on, fish. Where are you, fish? Pufferfish is probably not going to work either. Okay. Maybe this last fish will do the trick. Eh? No? You still don't want to be my friend? Oh, no. Now I got this fish. Hold on, cat. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Don't go far. We're going to be best friends. We're going to be best friends, cat. Just you wait. Just a moment. I'm gonna prove it to you. No, that doesn't do it for you either. Come back. That's string. I don't need string. I need cat. Obviously, I need cat. And then we have quite a journey home, and I still don't have any mangrove. I mean, any mud. Oh, we're in an ad break. Oh, that's smart, Sky. Fish. No, not pufferfish. Stop giving me pufferfish. It's getting dark. It's getting dark. My inventory is full of junk. Where'd the other cat go? Cat? I think the other cat left. We'll find him. We'll find him. Don't worry. We will find the cat. There he is. Wanna be my friend? Wanna be my friend? No, that wasn't enough for you. Look, I got two more. Two more. Huh? Yeah? Huh? Come on. Come on, cat. Please. Be my friend. Be my... Ha-ha! Success. Success. Okay. I picked up my ender chest. Let's grab one of the bundles and stick all this random stuff in it. Oh god, the cat scared me. Bundle of junk. Can this fit in here too? No. Let's put this out here, that in there. We need a boat. I don't have a boat in my ender chest. Let's cut down some wood. I think I can just put the cats both on leads and be fine. I have 2 leads. Don't I? Where'd my leads go? Are they in my ender chest? Yes. I have 2 leads, 2 cats, 1 boat. The problem is getting back home with them. That's gonna be a challenge. There's a drowned. We'll go over here where the drowned is not. Alright, cats. Let's go. We've got 4,000 blocks to go. Maybe we'll pass a mangrove biome on the way. That's true, they'll follow, but won't they kind of like get stuck on, like, don't they kind of try to stay to the land. I feel like I'll get out of their range. Like I can't fly because they won't stay, but if I'll just leave on there, then I know they're following me. Yeah, so if I stayed on land, they'd warp to me, no problem. But I'm worried because we've got 4,000 blocks to go. Over that, actually. 4,000 in both directions. My base is at positive 300, negative 300, around there. Oh, we got a dolphin friend. This way I'll know they're with me still. And we get to take in all the beautiful scenery. Oh wait, is that way home? We're going on a journey. A journey with 2 black cats. This is not why we left our house today. I wanted mud, because I wanted to start working on the pond and my fishing hut. And I thought mud would look nice at the bottom of the pond as well for some spots. This is fine. What's 4,000 blocks? Nothing. Nothing. It might bring us to when I have to end stream, but... But at least we get to take in the nice scenery. Just me and my new black cats. They're really good swimmers. Look at them. Look at them go. They're keeping up with the boat and everything. They're kind of water skiing in a way. Maybe I should keep my eyes on the road. Thank goodness we have wings, huh? Imagine just traveling by boat. Oh, let's avoid that mess. I don't want to go anywhere near that thing. Keep a wide berth from the water temples. Monuments? What are those even called? Monuments? Water monuments? Water temples? Underwater death temples? At least we can say we left the house today. Look, I can't. I want to take the cats home, but apparently we got a pet dolphin as well. Hello, dolphin. Unfortunately, I don't live near any water, so at one point we're gonna have to part ways. Just so you know. Just so you know. Oh, Kong has redeemed Hydrate, folks. You know what that means. It's time to drink some water. Everybody got their water bottles? Everybody taking a big old sip? Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. The cats are like, we're tired of swimming. Can we just ride in the boat with you? No, sorry, guys. Thank you for redeeming that, Kong. What's that thing? Is that one of the, like, the ruins that you can find things at? More cherry biome. So much cherry. There's so many cherry trees. There's a house there or something, I think. Oh, is that a village? It might just be a village. Oh dear. Is anyone on who could sleep? I wonder if someone will sleep. This is fine. This is fine. Everything's fine. Oh good, someone's sleeping. Whew. Shout out to whoever that is. Alright, we're making good progress. Look, we're under 2,000 blocks out on that first axis. Hopefully this cuts through. Ow. Plenty of birch. Do I have birch trees at home? I don't know if I do. Alright, still got the kitties. Food. Joe's dropping. Will Joe land? Ooh, that could be a good one. Alright, I think I want to go around this way. Oh. Oh no. Alright, I want to drop. I want to drop. Maybe I'll land. I'll avenge you, Joe. The centrifugal force of this booty will keep it going. Come on. Get in the leaf pile. Get in the No! No! Sorry, I let you down. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. Why are these numbers going higher? Shouldn't these numbers be going down? Oh, cute little sunflower village. Oh, that's adorable. Look at that. How cute. Oh no, we might have to start hoofing it. I don't want to hoof it either, kitties. But we might have to. Ignore the drowned. Ignore the drowned. This is not the adventure I planned on today. Does this not cut through? No! No! Where are we? And how do I get home? Oh, does this go around? Yeah? River? Oh, there we go. It opens up a little. Oh, nope. It starts to not open up like immediately. Oh no. I'm moving away from home again. In both directions. Alright, I think we're gonna just have to cut across some of this and hope that it's not too bad of a journey from there. Look at the puppers! Okay. No, the puppers. We don't need the puppers. Oh! This might open up. This looks promising. I wish the boats went faster. Does this cut through? Look at the little foxies. Oh my god, they're so cute. Okay. Okay, this does not cut through. Alright, kitties, we're hoofing it. You ready? You ready to hoof it? Shall we? Alright, we're traveling in. We're traveling together. Let's go. Here we go. I'm not usually in this perspective, but that's fine. Come on, kitties. Come on. Through the forest, which is very overgrown. Went out for mud, came back with cat. When you come across two black cats in the middle of a swamp, what else are you supposed to do other than adopt them? Huh? Tell me that. Tell me that. What else was I supposed to do? Obviously, I'm supposed to bring them home with me. And abandon my initial mission. Who needs mud when you can have cats? Riddle me that. Oh no. Oh! Wait, where'd the lead go? You guys will just keep staying with me if I do this. But maybe I should take the leads back. Okay. I don't need to keep an eye on the leads. Let's just go like that. Okay, kitties, stay with me. We're going. We're going home. Good kitties. Don't fall in any holes. Because you guys don't have feather falling. Unlike me, I have feather falling. 1, 2. Ba-ba-ba-ba-da-ba-do. Where's my food? And why is it not on my hotbar? Also, why do I have so little? I might have to start killing cows on the way home, too. This way. Yes, I think I also made the right decision here. Thank you for noticing. I probably was going in the wrong direction for the mangrove anyway. That was the game rewarding me. They're like, look, there's no mangrove in this direction, but there is cats. I don't want to take this beehive. Are there any bees nearby? If I break... Nope, there's the bees. Never mind. They'll be going back in. They'll be going back in a second. And then we can get another bee's nest. Because I think if I break it and they're in it, they can't sting me. If I die to bees, that's okay. I've made my own bed, if that's the case. Sun setting. Can you all go into the beehive now? Hurry, hurry. Get in the beehive. Sun's setting. It's getting dark. Mobs are gonna start... Sir. Sir. Get in the hive. Get in the hive. Get in the hive. And ha-ha! Beehive. Bed. Nailed it. And the kitty's sleeping on me. Oh my god, he's so cute. Alright. Back to our journey. We'll be home soon. Ish. Soonish. So we should start thinking of names for the cats. Are those the mountains? Is this home coming into view? Oh, kitties, are you gonna be able to cross this water? Please teleport to me over here, please. Please? Are you with me? 1 and 2, okay. Very good. Good kitties. Best kitties. Oh, more cows. Okay, I will leave that cow because it's with a baby. A bunch of coarse dirt. I kind of want to take a little bit of it. I feel like that'll come in handy around the pond too. Let's take a little bit of coarse dirt. Just a little bit. a little bit. Don't know what I'm going to use it for, but we might need a little. How do I get around this little mountain, though? That's the question. Climbing, we're climbing, we're climbing. Maybe I should have got back in the boat with them. A little bit more. You guys with me? 1 and 2. Very good. Eh. All right, this looks promising. Oh my god, there's so many poppies. So many flowers. Hi, donkey. Bye, donkey. Well. Okay, so I gotta go another like 600 blocks that way and then 500 that way. So let's get back in the boat and see where this takes us. All right, kitties. Need you to get back on your leads, please. Oh, I shouldn't have gotten the boat yet. 1 and 2. Alright, let's try cutting through here and see what happens. And put that perspective. Oh no. Turn around. Wrong way. Let's go the other way. Just kidding. Oh, wait. Is that... Oh. Hello, Leon. Thank you for the follow. Welcome in. My alerts are so loud today. Is that... What is that? Are we near Peter's area? Is that his mob farm? I actually don't think that is. I don't know what that is, but that's probably not what we need. And now it's raining once again. Okay, bring the boat over. Get back in the boat. Over here. Oh, boat, boat. Can I not put the boat down? Boat. Hello? That was weird. It, like, didn't want to let me place it. On the road again. And by the road, I mean the boat again. Boop, boop, ba-doop, boop, ba-doop, boop. Okay. Is that cut through? I see more water. Okay, good. This has been quite the journey, and I am so thankful to have an elytra and not have to do this every time I want to go somewhere. And I think we're going to go in the other direction to search for the mangrove. Alright. Alright, looks like we're getting out of the boat again to cross here. I lost my lead. Give me my lead. Thank you. Alright, right this way, kitties. We're almost home. We still got another couple 1,000 blocks to go. It's fine. Totally fine. We'll get there eventually. Cha. Crossing open water is totally fine. Will the kitties teleport? Come on, kitties, please teleport. Please tell me this is enough. 1 and 2. Very good. Okay. Alright, we're at -300, so we mainly need to go in this direction now. Hi, cow.
No.
Bye, cow.
No.
Sleep? I love the little purring sounds from the kitties. That makes this journey worth it. Okay, so mostly this direction now. Alright, come on, kitties. You can do it. Teleport over here. 1, 2. Very good. Another cow. Meow. Meow. Me Oh, I can't wait to see my house come into view. This has been quite the journey. You both with me? Where's your friend? 1 and 2, okay. Whew. I was a little nervous that I lost one of them somehow. Oh, I see mountains. This seems promising. We're definitely almost there. +300, -300. That's home base area. Oh gosh, kitties, don't you dare get caught in the snow. I don't know if you guys sink in the snow, but I'd prefer if you didn't. Oh, do I have to get over these mountains with them? Oh dear. I hope Jen's being extra careful. That doesn't sound good. Hoagie! Hoagie, look, we got 2 kitty cats. And no mud. I went out searching for mud and I came back with 2 cats. I think we might have to go over the mountain. Which I wanted to avoid. Because I'm really concerned that the cats will sink in the snowy snow. But maybe we can just avoid the snowy snow. Let's carve our way up the mountain, I guess. Nope, that's snowy snow. Get out of here. I should just pillar blocks. I shouldn't. They'll teleport with me if I pillar, right? I think. If they weren't in the same block as me, maybe. Guys. You're not making this easy. Alright, you guys, come with me. Up here. No! Did somebody die? No, we're good. Okay. Woo! I thought I just lost a cat after over 4,000 blocks together. Hi, goat. Right this way, kitties. There it is! My home! Alright, avoid the snowy snow. Avoid the snowy snow. Go down the side of the mountain this way. Very careful. Very careful. We do not fall to our deaths. We go very careful, very slow. Very careful. Very slow. And this way. Oh god, I hope the cats are still with me. Oh. Alright, we together? Are we here? Are we together? 1, 2. Okay. Woo. We made it. We did it. We're fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. The waterfall went into, like, a pit. Which is why I did not go into the waterfall. Oh, there's my bridge. Okay, I know where we are. Looks like we made it. Look how far we've come, my babies. We might have took the long road. The long way. But I knew we'd get there someday. I knew it. Okay. Alright, guys. Come on. In the house. 1 and 2. Good job. Mulder, Scully, meet your new siblings. They don't have names. Oh, that's a block. That's a block. They're all like, feed me. Okay. 0 mud, 2 black cats. I think that's good. I think we did it. Successful trip. Successful trip. Alright, I'll put away a bunch of stuff now. This stuff and stone. The cobble will stay on us. I'll put the seeds in there. Mob drops. We've got leather. And oh, I had 1 ink sac. I didn't even know I had that one. Some of the stuff is gonna go in my ender chest. Including fish for future use, because that is smart. So smart. This is a bunch of junk I have to put away. Alright, let's put all the steak in here to cook, actually. I can put the bundle inside the bundle. A bundle of bundles. Kong, what did you just warm up? Because it smells like food. Was it your leftover pasta? Oh my god. I might shorten it to Cooper and Truman. But that's actually fantastic. Cooper and Truman. Do I have 2 more name tags? I think I only have 1. We might have to go buy some. I only have 1. So we'll go trade for some name tags. Alright, I had stuff to put away. We're gonna put the boat in here. We're gonna put the leads in here. We're gonna put the gold. This will go outside. I'm gonna put it with the other stuff. On this side for now. I don't have a fire to put under it yet, do I? Do I have a fire in here somewhere? Bottles? No, not redstone dust. The obsidian can go in here. That can go there. Getting organized. Getting organized. That can go in here. Oh, fishing rod. Bed. And where should the redstone dust go? That can just go in this chest as well, I guess. There we go. Okay. Sun's going down again. Almost bedtime. Were you greeted by that beautiful sight first thing this morning, Keldon, in Joe's Discord? Oh, someone's sleeping. I was about to go. Alright, let's grab our let's throw stuff on the ground. First of all, give me the steak back. Thank you. Let's grab some emeralds, and we're gonna go buy name tags. Whee! Oh, don't spoil anything. No spoilers. We're looking at the ground. That's not the butt you want to see. All butts are good butts. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh. Why the carpet? Oh my god, look at all that iron. Okay, we're gonna buy some name tags. Hello. Oh, I gotta turn them into emeralds instead of emerald blocks. Hello, I would like some name tags, please. One. Oh, it's locked here. Okay, how about you? Nope, you're a farmer. How about you? How much do you sell them for? 14. 3 more name tags. Should we do a tiny bit of trading? Get a few more emeralds. Huh. Hmm. Huh. Uh-huh. Huh. Hold on. A little bit more. Just gotta heal up everything while we do this. Nope. Huh. Hope I should move my this here now. Uh-huh. Oh, did I use everyone? Oh, you can still buy some. Nope. Wait, were you? You're done trading. How about you? You're done trading. Oh no, I've used everybody. There's none left. Oh, that's down. This is up. Oh, there's an elevator. That's incredible. Okay. And I want a couple more name tags. Name tag, please. There we go. 6 name tags ought to hold us over nicely. I'll put these back into emerald blocks. And I didn't finish doing that. 2 more. There we go. Put these back in my ender chest. And the name tags can all go in here aside from 2. Those we'll use to name our cats. Okay. Alright, we're gonna fly back home. Nope, we're not looking at that. Nope. What spoilers? No spoilers. Whee! Alright, I'm gonna try to take a picture real quick of how things are coming along here. I just want to get mountains in the background. That's not what I wanted. Try again. Oh, that was loud. That was very loud. Everybody hated that. I'm gonna do it again. Alright, from this way. Eh? Little Pikachu. Yeah. Nailed it. Maybe. Probably not. I did my best, Grumpy. It's really hard to fly and not look in certain directions, I gotta say. Alright, so we've got Special Agent Dale Cooper. And Sheriff. Or should we go with Harry? Harry and Cooper? Nah, we'll keep the last name thing. Alright, you, sir. I dubbed thee Cooper. And you, sir. I dubbed thee Truman. Alright, where do you guys want to sit? Where do you want to sit? You want to come sit? One of you should sit here. This way, please. Who wants to sit up on this windowsill? You do, Cooper? Perfect. Alright, Truman. Truman, I think you want to sit up here on this barrel. Sheriff? Hello, Sheriff? Sheriff? Do you want to sit? You want to sit with your buddy Cooper? Okay, that's fine too. Alright, let's just scooch you. No, one on each side. 2 black cats in a window. Truman and Cooper. Perfect. Oh, I already named him Truman. Too slow. Too slow. And everybody else is the last name, so that makes sense. All right, should we try once again to find some mud? All right, so we went that way. I think let's go this way this time. Fly over spawn. Look at this. Beautiful spawn. Back past the salmon. Hopefully that wasn't spoilers. I think that's been there for a while now. Hello, Faust. How are you? Lovely to see you. We're on a journey for mud, which we went on a moment ago, like about an hour ago, and I came across 2 black cats. So instead of getting mud, we got cats, which is also great. But you know, when life hands you 2 black cats in the wild, 4,000 blocks from home, you journey back slowly in a boat. That's just what you gotta do. You know, that's how life goes. You can't be like, no, I don't want these cats. I don't want these cats. Yes, you do. You do want the cats, definitely. So that's how my day's going. We're gonna try once again to go get some mud. And hopefully this time we don't have to slowly transport any creatures back home. Just mud. So we're looking for a mangrove swamp, which is just full of mud. Because yeah, we can make mud, but it's kind of a slow process. I don't want to do that. Like 1 block at a time. Nah. Much nicer to go out into the wild and find it. And just take all that you want. That's how our ancestors did it, right? Plus, we get to see more of the world this way. Look at that ice biome. I didn't even know this ice biome existed. How are you doing, Faust? How's your weekend going? Or are you working? Are you off? Did you get some relaxation time in? This is a lot of ocean. Like a lot of ocean. Is that a boat? I wonder if anyone's been in this boat. Probably. Maybe not. Oh, treasure map. Don't mind if I do. Oh. No, 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 no. 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 Forgot about them. Forgot about them. We're just gonna take that, thank you. Let me out. Let me out. Well, that could have been bad. This is fine. Everything's fine. No reason to panic. What are you panicking about? I'm not panicking. You're panicking. Oh, look. Another chest. Ooh, goodies. I'll just take all dish. And there should be like a 3rd one in here, right? And it's usually 1, 2. Shouldn't there be one more? Maybe not. I thought there was usually a 3rd one, but Maybe this isn't a complete boat. Let's put some stuff away. Panikin Skywalker over here? Nah. No need for that. Alright, let's just put all this stuff. There we go. Ah! Bundles to the rescue once again. Oh, Zero's back. Hello again. And which direction were we going in? Should we grab more? I think we should grab a few more rockets out of our ender chest. There we go. And pickaxe. That's the silk touch one. Very good. Nailed it. And we're back to the skies. I'm having a calm time mostly. Someone stole my time slot in the laundry room. How dare? They're like assigned slots? Do you want me to fight them for you, Faust? Because I will fight them for you. Just like I fought all those drowned. I will kick butt. And I will be like, this is for taking Faust's time slot for doing laundry. How dare you? I want to find the person who put adverts on DVDs / like that aren't movie previews. You book them ahead of time, then there's no excuse for that behavior. I think they need a stern talking to. Hello, can I have mangrove? This is probably not the direction for the mangrove either. Lots of dark oak. But where mangrove? How's my wings doing? Oh, they're alright. Yeah, fine. Lots and lots of spruce. Nice little village. It's nice when they actually are traversable. But aren't they skippable? Are you forced to watch them? I don't mind when there's movie trailers. I mean, I loved the days of like popping in a Disney movie and then you get all the upcoming Disney movies. How else am I gonna know what to tell my mom to take me to see? Huh? Well, this is definitely not mangrove. We're gonna be brave for a second, okay? Where's my bow? Oh god. Oh. Oh, there's stuff up there. Someone dug down here. Never mind. I thought there was gonna be a horn. Dang it. Anyway. Hi, Andrew. Happy Saturday. How's it going? Oh, we got an ad break. Oh my god, there's so many. So many flowers. Good idea, what, taking a break? Getting a snack, a drink, etc. Where have all the mangrove gone? That's regular swamp. Give me mangrove swamp. Maybe there's mangrove swamp abutting the regular swamp. Is that mangrove? Mangrove! We've made it! We made it, guys. We found the mangrove. I'm just gonna start taking all of this mud out of the sky. We've done it. Hip hip. Hooray! Ooh, and we've got a potion. Uh-huh. This is what we've been looking for. Let's just... Now I know where it is. If anyone's wondering. Negative 3,700. Positive 3,700 equals mangrove. Oh, what? Using Saribot for that? Then I can make fun of people whining about an ad break while they're in an ad break. Thank you for showing me Saribot, Andrew. I love it. Ugh. I have the fun stuff enabled too. So we can do stuff like this. Get flipped, nerd. Sorry. Oh no! No! Oh my god! Where did you come from? Where? Where did that... What? Can someone else unflip Andrew? My life just flashed before my eyes. Where was it? Where? We're floating. Where did you come from? Andrew, you almost got me flipped. Not flipped. Blown up. Obviously, this is your fault. Oh my god, my little heart. My little heart can't take that. I just wanted some mud. I need a heart rate monitor so you can see my heart rate at 180 beats per minute right now. Double time. Oh, I'm like shaking. No. Oh, that was a sound from the game. I was like, ah. Alright. Hopefully someone will sleep. I don't know where that even came from. Where did that even come from? Maybe I should sleep. Oh, can we sleep? Is it bedtime? Sleep. Sleep. Nice landings, folks. I'd give you clappies, but I might get exploded again. We can't have that. I hear a zombie. I really don't understand where that creeper even came from. Whew. I guess maybe somewhere over here. From in there, I guess. Ugh. Oh, I hated that. Everybody hated that, especially me. Let's just shoot right here. I'll take some of this. Ooh, the rooted mud too. Let's take some of that. That could be good. Oh, we're fine. Whew. Andrew, I can't believe you'd use such an emote. Who are you, and what have you done with the Andrew core that I know? Huh? Tell me that. Whee! Oh, clay. I do need more clay. Oh. That's my impression of the witch as she died. Oh, there's the bogged here now, aren't there? That's dangerous. We should be on high alert. This is not very safe. But my health's at full. We've got armor. This is fine. We're totally fine. Nothing to worry about. Alright, how much have we gotten? I don't know how much we need, but I feel like I should just grab a bunch since it took us so long to get here. Unfortunately, I'm afraid that's not how Minecraft witches work, Matt. These witches are impervious to water. She might be able to drown, actually. That I'm not sure of. I'll take that up with Mojang. Alright, let's put all of this into a shulker. That can go in. That. I left some over here. Why would I take my sword off my hotbar? That's pretty silly. That's a pretty silly move right there. Hi, Mello! Happy Saturday. I hope you're doing well. What have you been up to this week? Those are scary sounds. Alright, it's almost 2 o'clock. We're gonna have to start wrapping things up here. So I guess we'll make our way back with all of this mud. Because I have a birthday party to attend for my sister. Or a birthday dinner. Which she's cooking. And I know y'all don't know my sister, but my sister has never been known for her cooking. But she recently moved into her own home and has since decided that she would like to learn how to cook. So she's gonna cook for us. So if I'm not here tomorrow, you know why. Just kidding. I'm sure it'll be fine. I hope. Survives in hardcore Minecraft. Dies in real life. To food poisoning. Happy birthday, Cat the sister. I like it. I like it. I want a little bit more. A little bit more. Not too much more. Oh god. Oh god. Ignore the Enderman. The Enderman does not exist. The Enderman does not exist. The Enderman does not exist. He's gonna be over there, and I'm gonna be over here, away from the Enderman. Maybe that'll be enough. Should we quit while we're not behind? Alright. That down. This and that in there. That can also go in there. Okay, pick up the shulker box. And let's be on our way. Wings on. Fly. Okay, so we've got to go that way. Nope, that way. Both of those numbers going down. Closer to 0, I mean. Woo! Okay. Let's see, let's see. Mellow's existing. Well, I'm glad you're existing, Mellow. I'm glad for that. If that isn't here tomorrow, their sister cooks them. No, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. I was joking that her cooking is gonna be so bad that I will die. But obviously I'm joking, and please don't tell her that. I'm proud of her for trying. I wonder what we're having. I don't even know, but I hope there's cake. She even asked for a new pan for her birthday. So that's what we got her. A nice skillet with a lid. And I kind of want one for us because it's a really nice pan. But we have too many pans as it is. Whee! The difference is I don't think my sister's a cannibal. I just think she has notoriously not been a very good cook. That's all. But this just goes to prove that you can learn something if you put your mind to it. Are you saying we need to buy more pans, Kong? Because we can do that. You know, while we're here, let's grab a little bit of sand. That's another thing we don't have a ton of. And what if we need to make, like, glass or something? This has just become a resource gathering stream, and I meant for it to be a work on the base stream. But I guess in order to work on the base, we have to gather the materials to work on the base, huh? Is that how life works? If you want to make something, you gotta have the materials to do it. As long as they're the pepperoni and cheese Hot Pockets, I wouldn't even be mad. I am expecting a little more than Hot Pockets, but I wouldn't be mad. One thing my sister is really good at is cheese boards. She always makes a really nice cheese board for Christmas. We do Christmas Eve at our aunt's house. And she's very good at the cheese boards, I will say that. So, I think she has potential. And who doesn't like a nice, good charcuterie board, huh? You cook Hot Pockets, Keldon? Like I said, as long as they're the pepperoni and cheese ones, I'm down. And it's raining, because it's always raining in Bedrock. Stupid rain. Right, Grumpy? It's always raining in Bedrock. Like my sentiments exactly. There's a cave right there I should be aware of. Is this enough sand? Do we need more than this? That's more. Oh, how many times am I gonna throw my shovel on the ground? Alright. Back to the sky as we go. Is this the way? Yes. Oh, that's rough. Grumpy's trying to build. And the rain is like, no, no building. It does sound nice, though. Oh, you can't have Hot Pockets. Do they have low-carb Hot Pockets? Oh my god, if I ever had to go on a low-carb diet, just let me die. What would I eat if I didn't get to eat, like, bread and sugar all the time? Is that a boat? Oh. That's not what I meant to do. Aha! Ooh! Things we don't have. Stuff. Thank you. I'll be on my way now. That's my first smithing armor trim, I think. I don't have any. Oh. think we're on our way. Yeah, that's Oz's base. We're almost there. Oh wait, this is heading toward Spawn Village. I need to go this way. Right? No, that way. Yes, over this little snowy mountain bowl. And back up. And down again. And we're almost there. Like right over this mountain. Oh god, the snow. Where's my house? Wait, this way? Nope, that way. Oh, there's my house. There's my house. Whee! We've done it! We've made it back home once again. And used, like, all our rockets in the process. But we now have a bunch of mud. And a bunch of sand. Where was I putting the sand? Do I have a place for the sand? That's dirt. I feel like one of these should have sand in it. Sand? Sand. Sand? Sand. No? Oh, there is a fireplace. There we go. Campfire, rather. Where should we put the sand? That's all wood, nether. I'll put all the sand in with the dirt. And I think I'll put all the mud in there too. And the rooted one. We didn't get too much of that, but we got a little bit. We also got, I think, 2 treasure maps, if I'm not mistaken. Oh god, there's so much stuff in this bundle now. There's so much stuff. Yeah, we got armor trims for the first time. That's exciting. Alright, should we try to organize all this before we go? Hoagie landed! Yay, Hoagie! Clappies, clappies, clappies. I want to drop. I haven't dropped in a while. D-R-O-P. That's how you spell drop. In case you didn't know. Little alien spaceship. Let's see. Let's see. Go, alien. Go, alien. Go. Lots of bouncing here. Lots of bouncing. Very little landing so far. Get in that leaf pile. No, wrong side. I did not land. Do we want to do a mass drop before we wrap up for the day? Everybody do exclamation point drop and an emote of your choice. I'm going to finish putting away all this stuff that I've picked up while we're out and about. And we'll all drop together once that's done. So. 2 treasure maps. And I'm getting a phone call. Alright, this can all go upstairs. Get in the drop! Get in the drop! Keldon's in the drop. Matt's in the drop. Some of this could go in the ender chest. That's where my valuable stuff is. That'll go in the bedroom. That can go in there. Where do I want to put the armor trims? I guess I'll put those in the bedroom. And the maps and stuff. And the books. Why not? Why not? Those can go in there. That can go there. Okay, we'll put the chest plate back on. Oh, we gotta heal that up. Repair it. Whatever the words are. Words are hard. Random feathers can go in the random mob drop barrel here. I need to grab a few more trapdoors. The cherry ones. Do I have any more? I've got 2. I need 2 more than that. Two more. Can go here. Alright, I think I'm gonna cook up this bunch of clay. So let me throw that in the furnace. And then we'll have more bricks. Regular bricks, not nether bricks. All this. Got a few mob drops. Those will go in here. Nope, wrong chest. This one? Nope. This one? The rest of the clay can go in here. Oh, those snowballs can go in with the other snowballs. Try to get organized a little bit. Paper. Alright, let's just take all of this. A bunch of this is random pieces of stone. And we've got seeds. We've got dirt, which goes in here. Single piece of wood goes there. Empty shulker. Alright, I'm gonna put the banner and the ominous potion in here. We've got the ore blocks in this one. Paper I've been putting in with all the sugar cane. And this and that. Alright, let's that there. 1 and a 2 and a 1, 2, 3, 4. Nailed it. Beautiful. Now we have 2 beehives. And I do want to collect it quick. I should just put some shears out here. And I can make an item frame to keep them in. So just 1 piece of leather for the item frame and some sticks. That in there. Wood. Item frame. Beautiful. And I have these 3 chests I can put away. Oh, you know what I should do with the chests? In here. Extra storage. There we go. And I'll throw that one in here for when we need to make another shulker. Eat a little bit of food. Beautiful creatures. I don't know what that is. Alright, last call. Last call for dropped. Anybody else want to get in on this? I'm just gonna collect this here. Honeycomb. We should probably start decorating the house with some candles and stuff soon. I love candles. Did I get all 6 of them? Perfect. And I'll put this here. That's my shears. Let's position ourselves in the house where it's safe. Put the honeycomb up there. Okay, we ready. Last call for drop. We're all dropping together. In 10, a 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Oh my god, my camera's so bright. Have I just been super ghostly today? 4, 3, 2, 1. Did I put in for the drop? I did. Okay, we're dropping. Here we go. Look at us go. Okay, what is gonna happen here? Let's see who lands in the pile. Oh, me and Kong both dropped, Jesse. How cute. Can we both land in the pile? Oh no, I got bumped. No, send me back. Send me back. Send me back. I want to be in the pile. No. Matt landed though. Yay, Matt. Clappies for Matt. The rest of us, we have some work to do. That's not clappies, that's tappies. Clappies. There we go. Clappies for Matt. What were our drop top scores of the day? Let's take a look here, and I believe this should all be from today, because I think it's been 24 hours since we last streamed. Top scores today: Matt, followed by Faust, followed by Zeroed, Hoagie Man, Keldon, Mellow, me, Jove, Grumpy, and what? Those might be from yesterday, I think. Some of those. Who's to say? Good job, everyone, regardless. Okay, we've survived another day. Just barely. We had a couple close calls here today. We had a couple close calls. So we're gonna wrap things up. And let's see who's live. Who do we got? Who do we got? I think I know where we're going. We haven't had a chance here yet. Slash raid. There. Nope, that's not how you spell that. There we go. Let's go see Jen, another member of the server. I don't believe we've gotten to raid into Jen yet. So let's go say hello. I believe she's going to start working on a dragon today. Crappy raid calls here. Hot and fresh raid calls. Copy paste. Copy pasta. You know. Copy pasta makes the world go round. Before we go, one more sip of water. One more sip of water. Cheers, friends. Thank you all for hanging out with me today. I should be back tomorrow morning as well. 9 a.m. Eastern-ish. And anything else? I'm not planning on streaming Monday. I have to fix an oven on Monday. And possibly return some stuff at the store. So, probably no stream Monday, but I should be here tomorrow. And hope to see you there. Take care of yourselves. Be kind. You're all lovely and I appreciate you. See you all again soon. And let's go say hello to Jen. All right. Have a good one, everyone. Bye.